Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. I was going to say speed building video, but I can't really class this as a speed build because I didn't technically build this house. So today I am attempting the Simsie's shell build challenge. I'm trying really hard not to because that's a bit of a tongue twister, but basically little Simsie has built a shell and she basically did it and was like, furnish it, make it your own kind of thing. And so I've seen quite a few people do this on YouTube. I've watched a couple of videos and stuff, and I really wanted to attempt it myself because I think it's such a cool idea to be able to create a shell and then loads of other people have their own take on what they come out of that shell, if that makes any sense, like what comes out of it. And so today I decided for today's video I'm actually going to do it, and I had a lot of fun doing this. It was a little bit stressful with the floor plan, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know really how to do it or what to do with it, but I figured it out in the end. But I am actually going to read out some of the rules. So there is 5 rules to this challenge. The first rule is don't change any of the existing walls or add interior walls, but you can change the wall height. So I kind of messed up on this because I added a fireplace kind of wall on the side, as you can kind of see, and I completely forgot about that part. So I am actually going to go in and delete it because that counts as an exterior wall, and I can't believe I didn't realise that when I was doing it. But afterwards, when I finished, I kind of saw it and I was like, oh, it's kind of like habit, like I just did it out of habit. So I kind of messed up on that one, but I didn't do anything else, so I'm kind of okay on that. And also I want to say now before I forget and I kind of go over it, it says that you can add change the whole wall height. I can't actually speak. Change the wall height of this build. So it's on a small, and you can change it to the medium wall height or whatever you want. I changed it to a medium, and I put the staircase in, and then I changed it to a medium, and I went around and I put the doors and stuff on, which were on a medium height. But I put the staircase in basically this little box that she put in the middle of the floor plan. In the middle of the room, she put this box, and she was like, you can't change that. And so I put the staircase in there originally, and then I made the wall height a little bit bigger. And then it's only when I came to doing the wallpaper of this build that I actually realised that the staircase wasn't there anymore, because where it was a different wall height, it wouldn't fit in that little slot. And so you will see me add a few, like a front door and a back door. They do actually change because I do them on a medium wall height, and then I have to change it back down to a smaller one because I kind of messed up there. But yeah, so that's the one rule. And then the second rule is you can obviously add interior walls and create the floor plan. Obviously it was just kind of like a shell. There was no interior walls apart from that weird little box that she placed in the middle. The third thing is you can add fences and foundations and all like flooring and all that kind of stuff. The outside, what you do with the outside is kind of your decision. It's just you can't change the structure of the build. The fourth rule is no custom content, and the fifth rule, which isn't really a rule, it's just kind of like a thing, you can actually rotate the lot. So I decided to use like one side of the lot, which I think a lot of people are using as like the front of the lot. You can switch it around, you can do it, you can make the entrance whatever side you want basically. So they were kind of the rules. Obviously I did kind of mess up on it a little bit, but I will go in and change it so when I upload it to the gallery it doesn't have that little fireplace. I can't believe I did that. I literally just did it out of habit, and it's what I normally do. I normally add like little fireplaces and stuff on the exterior, but I will go in and just change that, and you'll see the changed version in the screenshots. I haven't actually taken the screenshots yet as I'm doing this voiceover, and so you will see what it actually looks like without the fireplace when I come around to doing the screenshots. But anyway, moving on, you can kind of see that I've done the windows and the doors, even though them doors do actually change. But basically I knew that I wanted to use the seasons windows because I absolutely love the seasons windows, and the cats and dogs windows I absolutely love, and I knew that this was going to be a suburban kind of house, so I placed them in. But when I was actually doing the windows and all that kind of stuff, I didn't actually know what the house was going to look like. I just knew it was going to have the white windows that we have from Seasons, and so it was kind of a bit of a struggle trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the exterior paint. Like, did I want to do sliding? Did I want to do brick? I didn't know what I wanted to do. But in the end, I actually used a kind of paneling that we got from Cats and Dogs, and I used it in 2 swatches. I used it in kind of like this light beige / brown kind of shade, and then I used the white one as well. and I just kind of made that the exterior wallpaper. Like I said, I had no clue what I was actually going to do when I originally went in. I was just doing the floor plan, putting the windows in, and just went from there. And I actually love it. Like, I've done, I think, one house in this kind of section of colours, if that makes any sense. Like, I've done one house, it was one of my first speed builds, where I used these two wallpapers together and kind of created this merge in kind of way. This makes absolutely no sense, but I've used this kind of wallpaper thing before, and now you can kind of see that I'm going around and adding little columns around. And so I love doing this with my builds, but quite often I forget to do this, and so I'm just adding some little more, just a bit more texture to the build, and it kind of makes it look more Sims like, if that makes any sense. So more like cartoony. A normal house, I don't think you'd really find this in a normal house. You might, but I've just never seen any houses with these kind of panels slash columns slash things going around the walls. But once I added them, it kind of just brought the whole house together and just made it just a lot more nicer, because where I had the wallpaper, it was kind of like a cut off of the two different wallpapers, and so adding them columns kind of just made it merge in together a lot more nicely, and I just prefer it. But as you can kind of see, I did add a foundation to the front of this lot. So I knew that I kind of wanted to have a fence, but I couldn't decide on a fence for a little while. In the end, I think I end up using this fence, but I think I use it in a different shade. I think I use it in the white swatch. I'm not completely sure. I was kind of having a bit of a moment with doing the fencing and the columns, because I didn't know whether to keep the columns white. I then changed them up to a brown one to match the kind of fencing at that point, and then I originally then went back to try and do the same columns, but then I did actually just change them to similar columns, which are the white ones which we got with cats and dogs. So it's not the exact same columns going around the whole entire house, it's different columns, but it's only up close and personal that you'd be able to realise that they're different columns. They're in the white swatch, as you can probably tell anyway. So moving on, I did kind of create a backstory for the people that live in this house. I do normally tend to create backstories because I feel like with backstories I just create better houses. I don't know why, but the people that live in this house, I feel like, so basically when I was furnishing this, I basically felt like this was a perfect house for the game pack Parenthood, and I don't know why, but it's a very family orientated kind of house. Although I didn't actually put as much family activities in this house as I would normally do, because the floor plan was a bit strange and all that kind of stuff, so I didn't actually have enough room like in the house and stuff. But I still imagined that this house kind of had like a really big family living in it. Although this is only a 4-bedroom and 3-bathroom house, I kind of imagined that there were some parents that lived here and they had a teenage boy, and I'm not really sure on what his backstory is. Whenever I have teenage boys in all my videos, I'm like, I don't know what his backstory is, but I really don't know. Maybe he likes films, because he's got a lot of film posters in his room. So that was kind of his little thing. I didn't go too depth in that. Then there is also another bedroom for a girl. Now, when I was furnishing it, I was actually going to make it for a child, but I kind of didn't put any child objects in there, so it could just be for a girl teenager who just doesn't have a double bed, because the teenage boy's bedroom does have a double bed, whereas the daughter's bedroom only has a single bed. But then again, not all teenagers have double beds, so maybe she just got the short straw and she got the smaller room, so she couldn't have the double bed. So either or, a teenager or a child in that one. And then there is actually a room for a toddler in this house as well. I did a toddler little girl. I always tend to do toddler little girls. I need to try it and start doing rooms for little boys, because I just always do little girls. But she has got a room in this house as well. It is the smallest room, and I did actually realise as well when I finished this house that I didn't put any potties in for her or a high chair. So you'll see me do the bathrooms and you'll see me do the dining rooms, obviously, but I didn't actually add a high chair in there or a potty. But once I literally just finished the build, I kind of then remembered, it kind of sparked something in my head, and then I went in and I added a potty into her room, because I didn't want to delete any of the bathroom objects. So I added a potty into her room, and I did actually delete one of the dining room chairs and just kind of add like a little high chair in there as well, because I did kind of forget about that. But you can kind of see that I've done the majority of the landscaping. I kept in the front garden, but I didn't keep in around the back because there's not actually a lot of landscaping in the back garden as it goes. Where I did place this house on a 30 by 20 lot, I believe, I didn't actually leave enough room for a big enough garden to have loads of landscape and all that kind of stuff. I did actually opt for a pool in this house as well, which kind of took up the majority of the garden. So you can kind of see I've moved on to the garden now, and I added the wicket fence that we got with backyard stuff. I love that fence. Honestly, I think the backyard stuff pack is worth it for that fence. It's just such a perfect fence for a back garden. But I added that round, and there is also kind of like a kind of decking around the house. Well, I say around the house, there's a porch at the front and there's like a decking at the back. I added a few like chairs, and I added the flower arranging table onto there. And so after I did that, I kind of went in and put the swimming pool, and there wasn't actually enough room to put any monkey bars or any of that stuff. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I love having loads of stuff in the back garden. I like adding basketball hoops and monkey bars and literally everything that I can, but where it was such a limited space, I kind of didn't have any room for that. So this house doesn't actually have any children outdoor kind of objects, but maybe you can send your kids to the park because there isn't anything for them to do. But you can kind of see now I'm doing like this little decking bit. I do actually add a flower arranging table, and I add a toy house for the toddler as well. She doesn't actually get one in her bedroom. I try to fit one in her bedroom, but where she has the smallest bedroom, as she's a baby, or basically a baby, she didn't really have enough room for one. And so I actually added one on kind of like that little decking area out the back garden anyway. And so there still is a like a toy house kind of thing for her to play in, but she might just have to go downstairs. But anyway, moving on, I now am onto the interior. So I kind of went ahead and did the flooring and wallpaper and all that kind of stuff off camera. It took me a while to try and figure it out, but then in the end I decided to go for this really just white wallpaper, which I absolutely love. I use it quite a lot in my builds, but I don't tend to normally use it all over. But I decided that I wanted all the like bottom floor of this house to be all the same, apart from the kitchen and the bathroom. And so there is that white wallpaper throughout the whole entire build. And I also use this wooden kind of flooring which we got with base game. It is so lovely. I've used it a few times. I kind of discovered it maybe a few months ago, and then I was kind of obsessed with it, and then I used it in all of my builds, and then I kind of just like moved on from it, and then I came back to it when I was doing this build, and I love it. The contrast between the wallpaper and the flooring is so lovely. I absolutely love it. But now talking about the kitchen a little bit, so as you can kind of see, I use the Parenthood wallpaper. I don't normally use this wallpaper. I use the other wallpaper that we got with Parenthood for the kitchen, but I decided to switch it up a little bit, so it's a very black and white kitchen, as you can probably tell. I also use the Parenthood counters. Like I said, I feel like this house is just meant for Parenthood. I use a lot of Parenthood in this house. I don't know the other packs and all that kind of stuff. Normally I will list all of the build details all down below, like the packs and all that kind of stuff, so you can find out what other packs you will need to download this build. But before I forget, I'm going to say it again. I say it in all my videos, and it's probably getting a little bit boring now, but if you do want to download this, you have to turn the custom content filter on. I don't use custom content, but you're going to have to turn it on if you want to download this. But I am just finishing up the kitchen now. I do actually add a pet bowl into this house. So I normally add pet bowls into the kitchen, but I always forget to add like a cat scratching post or a litter box. So maybe this house has a dog. I did actually add a pet bed in the landing or the hallway, whatever you want to call it, but I don't actually show you that because I didn't want this video to be too long. But in the hallway there is like a little pet's bed, but there is nothing actually for cats. So if you want to download this house and you want to play in it, but you want to have a cat, you will have to add a cat scratching post and a litter box, because I just didn't add them in. But now moving on, I am doing the little dining room. So I find that often I always do my dining rooms off the kitchen and straight in, like there's a door straight out to the garden. I've noticed it in my last couple of builds. I don't know why I do that, but it just happens to be the way that I do the floor plan. But this is the dining room. You can only access it from kind of the kitchen. So if you want to go outside, you have to walk through the kitchen and then through the dining room. I kept it a very muted kind of thing in terms of colour in this room. I was actually going to use the pink chairs that we got with the Parenthood Parenthood chairs, so there's a pink swatch, but I decided to go for the green ones because I thought it just went a lot more nicer. But I do just add like a little settee in here, and I add this item from Cats and Dogs, which kind of is like a cutlery kind of thing. It's not cutlery, it's like pottery kind of thing, that's what I was meant to say. But it just stores like dishes and plates and all that kind of stuff. But I actually sized it down because it was way too big, and I wanted it to fit into this room just for somewhere to store all their cutlery. It's not even a cutlery, I don't know why I keep on saying cutlery, but to store all their plates and bowls and kind of stuff. And that side of the room did feel a little bit empty, so I just added it in. But now I am moving on to the lounge room. So as you're walking through the door, I didn't actually section off the lounge. I wanted it to be quite open and like flow through kind of thing, and I felt like it would have been a very tight squeeze of a hallway if I did kind of section it off. So it is kind of as you walk in through the door on the left, but it's not straight in your face. I did actually add a fireplace in this build. I used the one from Parenthood, and I actually wanted to use the Parenthood sofas that we got, but they come in such weird swatches. I don't understand. Like, there is a 3-seater one and then a 2-seater one, but the swatches of the 3-seater and the 2-seater don't match, and it's really annoying because there was this lovely blue sofa that I wanted to use, but because it doesn't come in a matching swatch for the 2-seater one, I couldn't use it, so I did just end up using the Seasons one in the purple swatch. I think I used them in not my last build, but the one before, so I kind of feel like we need some more sofas in the game. I know StrangerVille has just kind of come out, but I'm actually excited for the new pack already. I kind of want some new content. I feel like with StrangerVille, once you've done it once, it's kind of a little bit boring to go back and do it again. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. I do want a new game pack or new stuff pack. I would love a new stuff pack because I love stuff packs. I say everyone, a lot of people didn't like stuff packs, and they're kind of happy that there hasn't been one in, I think, over a year now or something like that. I think the last one was My First Pet Stuff, which I know My First Pet Stuff is kind of like a pack that we don't talk about, but I actually used quite a lot of My First Pet Stuff in this build as it goes. But I do want some more packs to come because I feel like I want some more sofas in the game. I know we've got a load with all the different expansion packs and stuff, but I love the season sofas because they've got little pillows and they're more welcoming and homey, and I just want more of them kind of sofas. I just want some more packs in general. I know that the monthly Maxis live stream has been delayed because normally I think it's near the front of the start of the month, but it's been delayed. I don't know why, but I did actually see another tweet by, I think it was Sim Guru Nick, I'm gonna say. It was quite a while ago, and he's tweeted that he was just finishing up some content which was going to be released soon or something, so hopefully we will get something soon. I mean, a lot of people are thinking that there's going to be an expansion pack in June because there's this massive thing where they're updating the like software requirements and stuff, and people are thinking that maybe a new pack's coming. I hope that there's a new pack coming. A lot of people seem to think it's University. I'm one of them people. I really want University in my game. I just love that whole University concept, and I don't know, I just want some more stuff in the game. I can't even remember what I was talking about before I started rambling about wanting new content. But then again, who doesn't want new stuff in the game? I think everyone, once we get something, everyone just wants the next one. I am guilty of that. I do just kind of want a new pack now, but rest assured we'll probably get one soon. But anyway, moving on, I am just doing the little entrance way as you walk in through the front door. So I just kind of put the Seasons coat rack on there, and on the other side I just did like a little table to throw your keys on and to throw your letters on and all that kind of stuff just as you walk through the door. But I am just now moving on and doing the little laundry room. So this house does actually have laundry. If you don't play with laundry and you don't do all that kind of stuff in your game, you can delete it, but with the way that the floor plan went, I just decided to have like a little washing room and all that kind of stuff. But I am now moving on and doing the bathroom. So this house has 3 bathrooms, 2 of which are actually upstairs, and then there's one downstairs, kind of in between the dining room and the lounge room. But I decided to show the furnishing of the upstairs bathroom because the one I'm actually showing is just a slightly bit bigger than the other ones. So all of them have a shower in and a bath, but I just felt like, as this is kind of what I would class as the main bathroom, like the family bathroom, that I'd show this one. But all three of the bathrooms are the exact same. I didn't do anything different in any of them. They've all got the same shower, bath, all that kind of stuff. But I just thought I'd only show one. I normally only show one anyway because I feel like it's a little bit boring. But in this room, I am actually adding some shelves. So I did this in my last speed build, and I kind of feel like it's going to be something that I'm going to be doing quite a lot. It just adds a little bit more realism. So you got your shampoo bottles in there, and you got your tissues and just little bits and bobs, because I find bathrooms to be quite boring when I decorate them, and so I feel like that just gives the bathroom a little bit something extra. But now moving on, I am doing the daughter's bedroom. So like I said, I'm not sure if this is for a teenage girl or a child girl. I'm not really sure. There isn't really any child objects in here. When I first was going in and initially decorating it, I was thinking about doing it for a child, but there isn't anything that indicates the age range, so it could just be for either or. But I just did this light kind of theme in her room. It's kind of like a peachy theme, and that is because I wanted to use this bed which we've got with Seasons. It's probably my favourite bed that we've got in the game. I remember when I saw it in the Seasons trailer, I was so excited, and it is my favourite bed to use, so I needed to use it for this room. But I am just going around, and I added some posters, and I added a little desk in here for a laptop. I said this in my last video, but I feel like laptops need to be on the single desk rather than the bigger desk, because the bigger desks just don't fill out as much space when you have a laptop. But now I am moving on and doing the teenage boy's bedroom. So he has the bigger bedroom because he is a teenager, but like I said, maybe the other daughter, child, whatever you want to call it, also is a teenager. But I just decided to give him the bigger bedroom because he is the boy, so maybe he is the one that everyone listens to and looks up to. Like I said, he doesn't actually have a distinct personality, but I did kind of put a lot of posters in his room, so maybe he likes to go to the cinema a lot with his friends, and he loves films. Like maybe he's just a bit of a movie fanatic. But I am just putting some objects in his room. I put a little fishbowl in here as well, so maybe he's got a pet goldfish called, I don't know, Terry, I don't know, something like that. I did also add a guitar into this room as well. I always tend for my teenage boys to have guitars in their room. Don't know why, it's just this thing that I always do. It's just like that thing. But I do also add a desk in here as well. He has a full-size computer, and I do actually add a lava lamp as well, but I added it in the purple one because I used the blue one in my last video, and I just thought I'd be a little bit different, do something that I haven't actually used before, although I have actually used the object just in a different colour. But I am just finishing up his room. I add a little rug underneath his desk, which I know that might seem a little bit weird, but I thought, well, I've done it as well, like myself. Like sometimes when you're sitting in your desk, you just kind of want something nice underneath your feet, and so maybe he just sits at his desk a lot watching films, and he has this little rug which keeps his feet warm or something, I don't know. But anyway, moving on, I am doing the toddler's bedroom. So I actually originally put the toddler's bed up against the wall where the window is, but I do actually kind of rotate it because I wanted to try and fit in this dollhouse, but it just wasn't working. But I did have one on the exterior anyway, so I kind of just rearranged it into a way, and I still couldn't figure it out. But in the end, there isn't actually one in this room. There is just some other objects. So there's the little tablet that the toddlers can use. I don't think children can actually use them. I think they're just for toddlers. But I did add some shelves into this room as well, and just kind of put child objects on there, so like a little money box and some bits and bobs, just trying to indicate that it's for a toddler. And obviously with the toddler bed, it shows it's for a toddler anyway, but I just wanted to fill up the room a little bit more. As it is quite a small room, I just wanted it to be as decked out in toddler stuff as it could be. But I did add a little giraffe in this room as well, and I love that giraffe. I don't know why, but even though you can't do anything with it, it's just like a kind of decor item. I really like adding that into toddlers' bedrooms because it feels like a toddler's bedroom that way. But now moving on, I am doing the mum and dad's bedroom. So this is the last bedroom in the house. They do actually have an ensuite in their room, so 2 of the bathrooms which are upstairs. Like I said, there is 3 bathrooms in this house. One of them is theirs, so they just have a little shower and a toilet in there. And I kind of went with like a brown scheme with this room. I haven't actually used that colour swatch of a bed yet, and I decided to use it in this room because they kind of have like a cream kind of wallpaper. But I just add like a little dresser in here and a mirror, just kind of like the normal parent kind of items. I always say this, but I never really know how to clutter up the parents' bedrooms, but I always just try my best and just hope that it looks okay. But I am just finishing up this room now, and I do add just a little armchair into this room, and so yeah. But anyway guys, I am going to end this voice over here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me attempt the Simsie shell challenge. I highly recommend that you attempt it yourself because it was actually a lot of fun. But anyway, as always, the build details will be in the description box below, and if you do like my content, then please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speed building video. Bye guys.